And it is believed the people that teach there are examiners.
Oh yeah, usually.
Yeah, so they are examiners. So you see, if me, I'm an examiner, and I'm told to submit examination questions, I will submit. And I know my friend from another school has submitted. I tell him, boy, send me the questions that you sent. And I compile. I know come what may the exam will come from this side.
Wow.
This is the part where now, you see, the education system needs to be looked at. There's that man, actually, I think he's part of the proprietors for Ubuntu. The other, is it Dr. Suku, something, I don't know. He says the education system that we're using the education system that we're using in the colonial days.
A story that is trending regarding civil servants failing to meet the grade 12 qualification. So we've seen a lot of them were being investigated and being suspended in different ministries. So we want to have a conversation there regarding why is it so difficult to get a grade 12 compared to tertiary qualification? Because we've seen most of those, you'd find they have got tertiary qualifications
and stuff. It's like even earlier conversation that we had to say, people are arguing to say, I've got a PhD, and then people just say, we just need your basic grade 12 certificate.
Yeah.
But one argument that comes out is that we usually encounter our last exam in grade 12 when we're still, most of the people are still teenagers. It's very rare to find, most people do it at the age of either 17 or 18. Most are younger than that. So you find that the level of maturity that you have at that stage of life and the level of demand that exam requires of you, competence levels are different. So it's like that thing that we have in Zambia where we're saying our education system is very bookish. It's dependent on how what they've into, and then you just want to remove them on the paper. Don't they say that you grasp the stuff. So that's why I think most people don't have the legit one. Their material.
We've got a lot of that.
A lot.
And obviously, if the ACC was to just finish those investigations into also private sector, there will be a lot of.
And audit is necessary. But then again, you find that someone but competence level organization, even qualification, really.
So this is the part where now you see. The education system needs to be looked at. There's that man, actually, I think he's part of the proprietors for Ubuntu. The other, is it Dr. Suku, something, I don't know. He says the education system that we're using the education system they were using in the colonial days. Our friends have moved. Yeah. Okay? It is not about the level of what you can remember or what you can memorize, the power of memory. Quite all right, it's good, yes, but it's about the level of understanding. Okay, even when we begin to, maybe we talk about the education system, we need to be talking about, even when someone is marking the paper, they need to does this person know what they're talking about? Do they have an idea of what it is? Because it is about, do you know it? It's not about how much you can remember. There are people that can remember things very correctly, but give them a hands-on job, because the job is hands-on.
Yes. Yeah.
When we come to grade 12 aspect that we are talking about, you find to say, like I want to build on his point, where he says we read grade 12 when we were young. You remember that not too long ago? You remember Uncle George?
The one who slapped his son.
Said, don't on you. He understand what is ahead of the sun.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the slapping. Where he goes, that it made a lot of noise on social media.
He was lamenting about
how much money he has paid, and the boy comes with.
The boy told him to take him to a very expensive school.
And he was not even
given. He did it for his own prestige. Yeah. That's another argument. Anyway, that's a topic for another.
So at the end of it all, the father knows what is ahead of him.
Yeah.
Him just looks at him to say my father is just being a very tough guy, and I think this is what we are talking about. You can imagine now he's grown. Now he realized to say grade 12 was very important.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is what is happening today.
To that point, I've seen a lot of people who are suffering because they failed to meet the 5 or 6 credits. A lot of them. Grade 12 is quite important. Once you have those,
it's like the NRC.
yes, once you have those 6 credits, at least even the merits and distinction, even better. But aim to have at least the 6 credits. You'll be at a better
It's a foundation.
position. Yes, at a better position. I can continue.
Yes. So the other aspect that we need to look at, what is the minimum qualification of someone attending tertiary education? Do we really follow that? Is it because of the mushrooming of these tertiary institutions that have come, they don't really care about what happens to you? Do you have the brain?
Okay.
Do you have the energy to walk to class?
Okay.
If we teach, are you able to understand? Or is it because grade 12 teachers, they're different from lecturers at tertiary? Tertiary is like the lecturers have got advanced way method of teaching.
So the other aspect you've talked about of grade 12, we write it when we are young.
Quite young.
Yeah, and we were a
Teenagers,
teenager in a prep stage and all that. But I've seen even rewriting those GC, amakemboka vachikulire mwe. So grade 12 kulichemwe
Yeah. No, that's
So you're telling me the 12 is a very hard and tough.
I think
it course or something.
It's not as easy as tertiary. In as much as we would like to attribute it to age, it's different.
yeah, it's
There's
just
a difference. It's very intense because it's a combination of everything that you've studied for the last 12 years in your academic life. Ideally, if you were to include private, the preschool and whatever pre-K, whatever you call that, it's a combination of everything that intensified on one sitting exam. So it requires a lot of focus. And in as much as and also when we get to a tertiary level, usually we pursue passions that we already passionate about.
Yeah.
So you find that at grade 12, there are certain subjects that we are doing good at, even if you don't study because you're already passionate about them. You get the idea, right? But because you don't get to pick and choose what subjects you take at that stage, that's why you find that the performance is very poor. But when you get to tertiary, I want to do something in IT.
Yeah.
You're already passionate about IT. So regardless of something that someone else who finds it challenging, because you're already driven, you easily get through it. You get the idea, right? That's why you find people are easily making it in tertiary level as compared to grade 12. Because grade 12 is compulsory. The 6 subjects you mentioned, those are compulsory. English, mathematics, I don't know the other, sciences, physics, those sciences. Like regardless of how you feel, I don't like mathematics, you cannot have a grade 12 certificate without mathematics. You cannot have a grade 12 certificate without physics and chemistry.
No, that one you can. So what is mandatory is mathematics and English. So sciences, you can replace that with biology, agricultural science.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah. So the mandatory ones are just
those two.
Yeah, and then any other 4. So,
but then you don't get to pick how you choose, because at the moment when you have decided pure sciences or normal sciences.
Yes, I think that is where the major challenge is. Also schools. So you find you are in a certain school or where you want to write from or where you are at. If they've got RE and commerce, it's a must that you have to take those. So if
those are the only options that you have.
You
but
want,
you see,
these
on what they are saying, what you are saying, there's this also aspect that is happening, and which I believe is not fair, because it's not everyone that can manage to go to certain schools.
I mean, tertiary or
no, grade 12. So there are a number of schools that are known. I don't think they can reach 20. Top schools in terms of performance at grade 12.
Yes.
And it is believed the people that teach there are examiners.
Oh yeah, usually.
Yeah, so they are examiners. So you see, if I'm an examiner and I'm told to submit examination questions, I will submit. And I know my friend from another school has submitted. I tell him, boy, send me the questions that you sent. And I compile. I know come what may the exam will come from this side.
Wow.
You get the point. And you find certain schools. Why is it that certain schools, when they go in an exam, they pass? How? They know it's the issue of
the people that are sitting in exams,
and it's not everyone that can go to those. So certain grade 12 or people that have failed grade 12, it's not because they wanted or they wished. You find to say certain schools you go there, or people that I've got a friend who went to certain school for tuitions. The guy said what we were learning is exactly that what came. Not to say no exactly like here, this and that, but they were learning the exam.
Yeah.
Why? And you cannot blame the teacher. The teacher just say, I picked only topics. I just randomly picked. And you cannot have to say no, this and that.
Yeah.
So
you're not directly interested to say this is how we are studying to the exam, but it's teaching based on what the experience.
So the other question I would pose to that. So we've seen certain schools that have got trends of pupils scoring year in, year out, high grades like 12 points, 6 points, and those schools are notable. So you are saying year in, year out, examiners just comes from there, or
there are teachers that have been selected.
Yeah, it's not everyone. It's not everyone.
To be submitting examinable questions.
Yes.
And the people that are going to select.
I think it's like markers.
For argument's sake, let's go this route.
Yes.
We've got, in terms of girls, the high scoring schools.
Me, I've deliberately
no, I'll go for names so that we argue properly.
Yes.
Yeah. We know St. Mary's in terms of girls.
Yes.
Cassisi,
most of those are Catholic schools. So most of the Catholic schools.
Yes. So we, in terms of boys, we know DK, we know Eucharist.
Yes.
We know also is Kafue boys and Matero still.
Yes.
So year in, year out, examiners still comes from those schools. Or what's your point?
Yes, I'm not saying they come from there, the schools you've mentioned. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
All I'm just saying, there are schools, those that perform very well. And you agree with me, it's like in every province there could be about 2 or 3 schools that perform very well.
Yes.
And those are regarded to have high grade kind of teachers. And you find to say those schools will have at least 1 or 2 examiners coming from there. And these examiners are selected, trained, and they do the correct thing. But come on, if you are a teacher, you as a teacher, you as a teacher, you've sent exam questions to ECZ or whatever, and are you going to teach something else? You definitely what you've submitted, you make sure.
And as you say, he's got a friend that you interact with, because
then it's like him is a teacher to this school.
Yes, and
you will teach the same subject.
Yes,
he's a teacher at that school. He's an examiner. I'm an examiner to another school. You're an examiner who submitted. Let's assume this paper is going to be made from our submissions.
Yes.
Then I'll tell you, can you give me what you submitted? I give you. So you have everything that was submitted.
Yeah.
So if it was submitted, you will take your pupils and begin to teach them based on that.
Okay.
You will not even waste time to do other things. So
you're not
but you're telling them, okay, study everything, but make sure this you know them.
Or maybe we can flip it, because when you say it like that, me as the person watching you, I'll be thinking, so meaning my children are advantaged. You as a teacher, you're making them be advantaged upon others. So instead, you can flip it and say, you pick the examination questions based on the stuff you have covered. You as a teacher, you know that I have taught this thing. That's where you pick from. Not that after you know what you have submitted, then you start teaching. You can say, we are teaching from what they have already studied. Because most people, when they head into exams,
you've paused it.
We've already said, they usually say, you study this and this. These are the stuff that usually come. And if anything is going to come, check in these topics. One of these in these topics will come. That way, it takes away the advantage the situation, because really that one is really putting the pupils in those classes.
And that's what I want to advocate.
It's deliberate.
So it's deliberate.
Yes.
So that is the argument. I think it shouldn't be like that.
Okay. So the other angle I would bring to that point is, we had one of our friends when I was doing our tertiary learning. He gave a scenario where I said, me, I don't care and I don't feel bad about my points that I got, because where I'm coming from, the school I was at, it was in a rural area. And for me to see a textbook I would spend the whole night just copying whatever is in the, there's no photocopying there. So they would literally write the whole book in 2 exercise books for him to have access to that beautiful book he has seen. Then he mentioned a statement that also touched me to say, most of the teachers there would even come drunk and would teach in a local language, vernacular. He was in northwestern province. At Mulichi Kalunda, physics, he said, you know what is inertia? Inertia is when you are in the bush. A lion is chasing you, you stop, the lion keeps on going. That is inertia. And he's explaining it in Rund, Mulichi Kalunda. So now, when you are in an exam, the struggle of first interpreting.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yes, interpreting what he was saying, you put it in English, then you now put it
so
on
you understand
paper.
the concept.
You
but
understood
Now,
the
you
concept.
cannot write
So-
the lion because the marker will look like you are crazy.
Yes.
Yes, so you'd find, yeah, quite okay. What you have mentioned is there are some schools that have got, yes, privileged us. We will not just stick to examiners, we also stick to serious teachers and who are in schools that are easily monitored and evaluated compared to those in flanked areas. So I think we understand to say, is it Debs does not manage to inspect frequently all the schools compared to these that are in urban areas and all that. So you find that was also a factor.
Yeah, because that's common. You find that no, Debs visited Eastern Province, but they only visited Chipata. They didn't go in those that we visited Kasama. Northern Province, we just visited Kasama, like the central. That's true.
So we've got a lot of that, proper monitoring, where teachers are racing around, going in class drunk.
So you see, when you put it that way, I am still coming to. I personally went to a rural school.
Yeah.
Okay, the school didn't have power, and we were using solar power. Okay, it wasn't too much in a rural, but it was in a rural.
Yeah.
You understand? You will find to say even the quality of teachers that you have there.
Yeah.
It's not really balanced, but they are trying. You know to say when you do this lab stuff, the school is limping.
Yes.
You understand to say if you look at
Certain
the laboratories, we didn't do certain experiments.
Yeah.
Certain things we just had them in the textbooks. Rural area schools, they are not privileged with a lot of things.
Access to resources.
Yeah, access to resources. And access also to maybe updated stuff. I don't know what happens with rural schools. So you'll find to say, even when I get certain points that might not be very competitive with others, I'm so proud of that, because the amount of work you put in and the amount of work somebody else puts in, because when they come they'll find power. Okay? We'll find power, but when you go home, there's no power.
It's done. If you don't study during the day.
If you don't start during the day, it's done.
Okay.
And you cannot manage to be buying candles and thing. And again, even when you're using this solar thing, you will actually realize to say, it's limited. It can go to this much because it cannot power all the classes up to this time. So it's like we're starting prep the evening one from 18. Yeah, starting at 18, reaching at 21. And you cannot go beyond that. So if you have to go beyond that, you need to provide your own source of lighting. Okay? And also, security, your security where maybe you need to move long distance. These schools that are in rural.
It wasn't?
No, it was, but it's not everyone that would be accommodated in that thing. So you see, if you move around, you find to say even there's a school here. By the time you find another school, so a person will have to walk maybe kilometers to this school. You understand that, and it happens also even in these urban schools, where someone has to walk from a long distance for them to get to school. So it is a challenge because the person needs to put in, you will put in 20% and it's okay, you can even pass an exam. But the other person needs to put in like
extra.
Yeah. Like you were saying, textbooks. These are textbooks where you just hear a teacher says, no, there's is it introduction to biology? You just hear about it. Like if he's going to share with you, it's like, okay, like in my case, I used to be good with drawing those diagrams and things. So that's the only time you're going to have, and you tell you, I need this book by 14. Immediately you're done. Maybe sometimes you're done because he needs to go and use it to another in another class. And you are done. So sometimes he's waiting for you, draw on the board and thing. So that is the point now you go and check through. Then you do not have resources also to like, you can get, books are sold everywhere.
Yeah.
But do you have the resources to go and get those books? So those are things that contribute to these children to actually have access to certain materials. And all you need to do is rely on your notes, which is good because if you don't have such material, you literally need to write all the notes.
So basically, that's another angle of why we have quite a number of
people that are doing better after.
Yes, So I think after that struggle, you'd find it
so,
looks at.
Where this conversation is heading to, do you think it's right for ACC to start investigating people or just leave people with fake exams?
No. So I think.
Because check this out. The argument is, yes, it's got a fake grade 12 certificate, but it's got a legit tertiary education in as long as the foundation is shared. And then also it's very.
Which one are you saying? Are you saying also those degrees, the honorary?
No.
So basically,
you said honorary degrees are not used as qualification. Can you use the
inequality comes in once you go and alter the document. So, for instance, if you've got 3 credits and the rest 9s or whatever.
Well, that's also possible. I thought maybe it's literally creating a grade 12 certificate.
Both cases.
That's possible. No.
If you don't alter the document. So there are two.
But if you don't order, you don't qualify to go to tertiary education. So
there are a number of entry. There are a lot of entry. I was privileged to work in an education institution. So there is what they call mature entry. So most universities have now introduced that mature entry.
What do you mean, Owen?
Where you've got 3 credits in your grade 12 and you have worked for 2 years or more. So for instance,
I think you're missing the point.
I used to work for Zika. The mature entry is if you've got 3 credits
on your paper,
better on your grade 12
without
you going to work.
Yes.
And you've worked somewhere and there's proof from your institution to say he works here and he has worked that CV part.
Yes.
They will administer you to go into accounts, the technician when you do study. There's also these trades. Trades, they also do a grade 9. They will give you a craft certificate when you've got a grade 9 or even 2 or 3 in grade 12. They will administer you on that basis. So when you want to do a diploma on that institution, then you need to rewrite and have them 6. That's when they will give you a diploma. So what we need to do now is advise the institution to say mature entry. If this one was allowed in an institution to get a degree or a diploma with these conditions, because where it becomes tough now is when being employed.
Yes.
Most employers, including the civil servants, have put 6 credit, including mathematics and English. If you don't have that, you can. Even if you are competent, so I think that is a portion of law the government needs to intervene and leverage on those.
You get the cream of the cream. You can't. It's a normal trait. You can't be.
Even in those that didn't do well in the grade 9, but they are honest. They have learned and they have become performers and they are doing wonders. Why not include them at that stage? So the other thing is, like we talked with Mlanga in terms of those coming from rural sector, where the resources in terms of finances
are limited.
So I struggle to get those 2 credits or whatever.
Yes.
Then I cross over, I have got this little money, I'm thinking, should I rewrite or go forward? So that's the reason why you see people pick, instead of going back to rewrite, they prefer going forward, so that even if they go into business or other things, they'll still make it, and like think employment all the time. Let me clear my grade 12 so that you'd rather move forward. Then when you are employed with what you
the case with the ECZ, what are they looking for? Are they also looking for 6 credits, or what's the situation?
No, you see.
So
the
for
issue
it to be called the full grade 12, the ECZ for MPs, yes, it has to be 6 credits.
No, it's a certificate. So there's a difference. There's a difference. A certificate is a person that.
What qualifies to be a certificate?
Yes, that's what I want to explain. A grade 12 certificate is something that is going to have satisfactory credit, merit, distinction. Unsatisfactory, meaning you have failed. Grade 12 is 40, right? Pass mark.
Unsatisfactory, satisfactory, then credit, merit.
So,
distinctions.
8 and 7.
It's so satisfactory. That's a certificate.
Certificate. You have passed. You passed the pass mark.
Okay.
The pass mark is 40.
Yes.
Then you reached 40, or you had 40.
So if you have all 40s,
so we start from
get a certificate.
8 and 9. Those are satisfactory.
Okay.
So if you are going to get 9, you have gotten unsatisfactory.
Yes.
Then you are going to grade 6 and 5. Those are credit. Then 4 and 3 are merit. There's first merit, is it first grade merit and whatever, and they call it. Then distinction, there's 2 and 1. You've gotten a distinction. So they are graded between a person who has gotten between this, they're graded. I can't really remember, but if you check behind the
point you
grade 12
put across is
certificate,
that a certificate is the satisfactory on the paper.
Yes.
So if it's so full satisfactory,
yes. So you need to pass at
That's
least, for you to make a certificate to be called a certificate, you need to pass at least in the minimum 6 subjects.
All satisfactory.
All satisfactory. As long as there are 8 satisfactory, you have a grade 12 certificate. You are certified fit, or you passed grade 12.
Okay. Which will fly with ECZ.
Yes.
So, question. How is it that these people manage to go to higher education with the fake one?
No, that's where material comes in. Material.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
No. So we are coming to
How is
that.
it that you are
No, we are coming to
managing
that. Let me explain
they
this.
accept that fake
Let
one?
me explain this. So what is happening here is, what is the minimum entry point in this tertiary education? So the tertiary education that happens is, most of tertiary education, they want credit and below.
Yes.
Then
But
some
you
of
provided
them,
the fake results.
I'm coming to that. Some of them, I'll give you an example of the institution that I went to.
Okay.
When we started school, tertiary, okay, they demanded for our original grade 12 certificate. Bring it. Okay? When you take it there, they took those before they start training you, or as you are in training, just in should be 3 months of our training. They took our grade 12 certificate for verification to ECZ. Okay? And they said, if you know your paper is not real, better just stop. So you know for real to say, we are taking this for, and they demanded for the original copy. Not they demanded for the original copy to go and verify with ECZ. So they came to verify, and all of us that were allowed to continue with study, it's because we had the genuine grade 12 certificates. Even now, this is the reason why I think we need to advocate where every time there are people that are going to be enrolled, if this could be put as policy, for me, I would be glad. So, where every institution, especially the tertiary education, if they are going to shortlist before they publish the names, let the names be, or ECZ be involved. If there be a little something that will be paid to ECZ by the institution, better.
I don't think it should be an issue of paying them. I think it's
So basically, that's where
it can be something like
a process.
That's where the issue is. So
Because you don't need ACC to come on board, because someone was saying it is stepping out of their mandate and boundary.
So institutions have got different ways of verifying. So UNZA, for instance, and where I was trained from, they rely on you yourself going to ECZ, having the results that you are handing over. The screening starts with your grade 12, where they go to ECZ themselves, the HR from different institutions, have access and relationship with the ECZ, where they go, verify to say, okay, this is what you scored. Then from there, they will look at these other things. Even universities, they will get your university certificate, verify with that institution. Was this person at this institution? Are these the correct scores that then you'll be employed after those screening? So we've got
Owen, if you're going to
the
talk
paying
about
part, so resources and also human resource to obviously to have someone in an institution dedicated to go and verify. I think that's where now most institutions have got the limping part. Even all these institutions, including ECZ, the examination, you need to pay for them to go through the databases.
Okay, when we find a person who has fake results in an institution, who should we blame? The institution, ECZ, or who? ECZ.
Think about it. Look at, because right now they introduced this thing where you can check results on the phone.
No, it's the institution itself.
Why would the institution allow you to go ahead with the status that they are offering?
Here's an argument. Always, you put across a point to say it's very. For example, UNZA, you need verified true copy. You get the idea.
Yes.
So UNZA admits you.
Yeah.
ECZ says it's a verified true copy. Then later on, after investigating, they come and discover it's a fake result. So who's to be blamed in that case? That's a point.
It's UNZA. So
why UNZA in this case?
They need to go themselves, because along the way between me who's desperate to stamp signature, they can always be accessed through material.
Even the same ECZ, someone can be corrupt there and say this and that. But if an institution goes, it's a different case.
Yes.
If an institution goes, it's like they don't know you, because it's like I come to ECZ like you're my friend and I've got all the money. It's like okay, he's my son. My son is going to come there. It's just a matter of stamping, okay, and the person who's going to sign.
Yeah.
So we don't know the procedure and how many offices it goes to. But last time I think I was trying to have my I think it goes to about 3 offices. I don't know the security there that we have put in for ECZ, because we have a situation where if we follow certain people that have been accused of having fake results, you will discover to say ECZ had even stamped them.
Yes.
What if those stamps are made in
materials?
Yes, that's what we're saying.
So now if the institution goes there, so now it's either we give that mandate to institutions, but again the institution no, the problem where the institution has. If I'm going to open a learning institution where I am here, I want clients who are going to be students, and those clients that are going to come, it is not in my capacity to I'm just giving you a service and you pay me for the service. The grade 12 never. So now we need to put an institution that is going to be monitoring these institutions. Which institution is that?
What the Taveta for this?
No, they don't. These institutions like Taveta and ECZ, they are waiting for institutions to follow them. No, we are talking about how many people do you have?
So many is what I guess it's an issue of the steps then. So I have an institution like you said.
Yes.
And then I know that people that are coming have to have verified information with them.
Yes.
So what have they set up to help me to admit people?
That's what I am saying.
Verified. Because at the end of the
so
day,
the issue is when you open an institution, you put qualifications of people you want. I want people with 6 points. So who should verify on your behalf to say these people that you have, in as much as you want the money, why then put the, if you don't want to limit, you want to have a lot of customers. Don't put any qualification. Just
So-
say, I will train
No,
whichever
now
person."
this is where I am saying.
So that you
If
can
we are going
get
to
as
have a
much-
policy of an institution that is going to be found training a person who, according to the minimum qualification, this person does not meet this, but this person was trained by this institution and they got a paper
Should be
and
penalized.
should be penalized.
They are there.
They are there.
So like for doctors, is it medical association?
Well, they should know better.
Remember,
HPCZ.
HPCZ nearly registered these colleges that were admitting.
Yes.
as
No, with
substandard.
HPCZ,
We've
what?
also got the higher learning institution that goes in these private universities. You remember there was recently.
Then yes,
a lot
HPCZ
of-
can be that proactive, but HPCZ is just dealing with health.
Yes, that's kind of.
But who is dealing with the thing? There was a
I
debate of
understand.
Zambia Qualification Bureau, something, the one that is found by Kawe roundabout there.
Yes, that's the higher.
Then
what's
they're not.
the correct at higher education authority.
Yes,
that-
Zambia Higher
Yes,
whatever authority.
yes, yeah,
Mm.
those guys. That's their job. That's their
But they are not being proactive because we cannot be having institutions. This institution needs to be monitored. Have they monitored all the things? Why ACC is actually jumping on board is because you are found to have a fake. That is a corrupt
Yes,
process,
it is.
and they are coming in because of the corruption that has happened.
Corruption, yes.
Then again, they're coming in a situation. If you entered there with the minimum qualification, you come to this institution and you find the secretary to say, no, but madam, how can we, this is and that, but we can see how we can, and the secretary says, go and see the boss, he said, go and explain ABCD. Or give me your contact. And the secretary is going to discuss with the boss. Boss, no, there's this someone who comes, he says this, Shami is willing to pay. You see, I'll give you an example, even at Unza. The person who's going to apply under self-sponsorship, even if I wait a results, I have
Priority.
Balam
The priorities.
yeah, but if you're going to apply under government bursary, the competition is stiff. You need to have 6 points or anything else.
That's
But you,
good.
as like you've even put it, if I've got what do we call that? If I've got results that they don't really meet that, but I say like, okay, me, I want to apply under self-sponsorship. But do you meet the criteria? There's what do we call it? Has got from 6 points to about 21 points. Division 1. But according to what I know at UNZA, it's just that the competition is stiff. Every person that is in
Supposed to
Division
be
1 should be admitted at UNZA.
Yes.
So if you have 21 points, you go to UNZA and you say, I'm in Division 1 and I'm able to pay for myself. I don't want anybody. They'll get you.
Yeah.
Why? Even if ECZ and anybody else comes, they say, he has a grade 12. He's in Division 1. And he qualifies to go to any tertiary education. And I want to believe, I do not know about colleges. Colleges, maybe they agree also to Division 2 ends from 21 points to how many points?
Just proceed.
Yeah, so there's
Wow,
Division
when you
2.
talk.
So these are the things where I want to believe the people in Division, there are about 3 divisions or there are three.
Yes.
I want to believe the people that can go to college, from university, college are people in Division 2. Those are ones where they've got credits at least. They can have all the credits. They can go to college. Okay? But as long as you are in Division 1, you can go to the university.
Or CBO.
So,
Anyway,
how do they now the process?
So,
of
when
verifying-
coming to grade
like
12,
catching someone who has a fake one, in this case.
so now when
yeah,
catching
about
someone
this.
who has a fake result, I'll give you an example of now at that particular time we don't have any monitoring institution here in this process. You are a freelance kind of an individual. You can do your thing very well and forget. You have cheated the system throughout. But what happens now is when you finish, you want to apply for a job. Okay? So you're going to apply for a job. Now, for a job, they want, because now they are putting their money, they'll be paying you. So they know to say our monies need to be paid to someone who is legit. Okay? So now they will bring the CV, bring this and that. Even if you submit this school, they would have to check, does this school exist? HRs, they should have some way of how they can
vetting.
Checking, oh, this school, does it exist? Okay, this school, Kudala, I don't know now. But now it's like, it's not very much. Kudala, they'll even check the rating of the school.
Yes.
How good is this school? Then say like, no, we cannot get a certain cream from this school. So that, no, not this school. Okay? Even these universities, I'm sure to say, if you're going to apply, you with a name of a high school that is not even known, and another person you've got, maybe you're competing, and this person is also maybe from another high school, maybe DK. They would like, they will go for the DK because they know that we're getting good cream from this. You understand that?
Yes.
So even when it comes to where do you catch them? So there are civil servants that have gotten into the service without those great work, for which, for me, I blame them. Why? Some of them...
Blame the civil servants or blame the government?
No, you see what happens sometimes is people can cheat the system. But if you manage to cheat the system, why don't you go and correct it and even go and submit your papers later? You understand? But a person has been in the system for a long time, until when everything goes like, no, you don't have a grade 12.
Yes.
And when they chuck you out of that, you don't even get your
benefits. Because everything becomes illegal.
So mostly they are caught at a time where now they want to get into the system of employment. And that's where they are caught. But now we need to put.
So who verifies now?
The employer.
The employer is putting money.
Has to go through the whole process of going to the.
Because they want to get the cream. They do that. Because they want to get.
Yes, there is a process of verifying.
Yes, there is.
So basically, there are 3 methods I've seen of the way they verify. So the first one I've told you is where they will tell you to go, you yourself, to go to examination council and have them verified, and you bring them back. It's also called verification, and the most institutions are still comfortable with this first one. The second one is where the institution itself, it takes what you've submitted, goes to ECZ and verifies.
Yes.
The last one I encountered when I was having interviews with OP, it's a manual one. The one Malanga said, they will tell you to come with the original certificate or statement of result from ECZ. There are certain features they see. So what they will do is they will point it at the right, then they look at certain features in there. But which is also dangerous. There are some
counterfeits that can,
able to put those.
They make money.
And we're just seeing people being told, go in the bus, you go in the bus. So
I think I've heard of that story where those people went with certificates that are wrong. They were from the interview room straight to
police center.
So all we were told is, you guys, those guys we've moved from here, came with fake documents and we've taken them out and they are all to the police and all that. So I think that one is too manual. I think there should be some automation.
So now what Macron was saying is ECZ coming up with a system where institutions can have their own database for ECZ.
Where institutions, because already we know that every school is linked with, especially those that do exams.
Yes.
They have got links straight to
ECZ. Where they can log in, they've got their account.
Yeah, because right now, Zamtel, we can check. Like I remember my sister wrote up with 7. So immediately the results came out, everyone was losing their minds putting that code in there. Since we can do that, how about the ECZ develop a system
where
even anyone can log in, not even ordering anything, but you can see the figure.
Your examination number becomes your password.
Like the way we do the TP.
Yes.
You can log into that.
That's why we should go.
So ECZ need to put in that where the institution has got that where they need to verify. They don't even need to go to ECZ. They can just log in their account and check.
It should be public information, in short. They cannot see my details, but I'm supposed to be able to access it. And the institutions that are verifying whether my clarifications that are right or wrong, they should be able to have that access.
You can log in, but you cannot.
Should be like right there.
Dude, I shouldn't
You
have
cannot. You cannot.
But do you see where the complication comes in? Because of the money aspect, ECZ makes that level of money by people going to the fire. So they don't want to lose that level of income.
No, for them, for UNZA to maintain an account, there needs to be a subscription. They need to be paying maybe per year. That is another way of how to make money. They don't need to use. They don't need to use stationery and use anything.
But because there is a possibility of being kickbacks when you come in person, you see that.
I think those,
So for the institution, for ECZ would make the money based on the subscription possibility. But because they are no bossy, okay, you got 100 p, they got that possibility.
Yeah, I think that's the way we should go. When we automate, we remove those corruption issues that we're talking about. I think and those amounts, it's not for ECZ, it's for government.
Yes,
they are called statutory fees.
Yes.
Whatever we pay. So I think that what government should start looking at, to start closing those loopholes, giving access to these institutions where they can subscribe, pay, to have that portal.
And they put it's a mandate for a school to be authorized and to open, that should be there.
Yes.
So the people that are going to where the registration,
university,
yes,
requirement, yes, you pay for that.
You pay for that, and it needs to be renewed every year.
You do.
If you don't renew, meaning you cannot even enroll.
Yes.
So ECZ, you should. I mean, is it supposed to pay as well?
No,
Yes, the government doesn't pay us for this.
I mean, this suggestion was just.
This is just ideas that we're sharing, but
which makes a lot of sense.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
It's one way we working money guaranteed. But
it's an present venture. They don't need anything. All they need to do
you don't have to interact
come
with
up
people.
with a system.
We just that idea. We just employed 10 program developers, 10 IT guys, 10 IT like
Their brains here. Their brains here.
30 people have been employed.
So based on that suggestion we've given, this is where we wrap up this episode. So ECZ, when you develop that, we need our commission.
But we need to put it clear. When we talk of ECZ, we are not saying about ECZ for elections. No, we are talking of Examination Council of Zambia.
Let's be clear. Because we've got a lot of ECZs in Zambia. So this time around, when you hear this certificate, we're talking about Examination Council of Zambia. So that suggestion, we expect our commissioners Kutika. Thank you very much.